English we do have. Tovela. Abusheni. Ndi machedoni. Good morning to all of us, ladies and gentlemen, gathered here this morning. Program Director, let me start by acknowledging the established and esteemed protocol for university. Our university has protocol. We have our Vice Chancellor and Principal, Professor Mkhalo, our two DVCs, Professors Madaji, Richard, and Professor Singh, Rachel. And we also have our executive deans of faculty and the entire management of the university. I am acknowledging and honoring their in absentia. I'm honoring them. They've given us this opportunity and this chance for us to hold this occasion here at the university. We are hosting this Career Expo, and it is mainly hosted by one of our departments in the School of Languages and Communication Studies, the Department of Communication, Media and Information Studies. So in the school we have 3 departments. It's languages, it's linguistics, translation and interpreting, and yourselves. So this is actually yours. Ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, our beloved students, our esteemed guests, this Career Expos, as you know, are held annually in order to endeavor to expose our students to the concrete and practical world of industry, the world of work in PR and communication. You know that. This is what our students, our beloved students, need and desire to experience. You will agree with me that theory without practice is hazardous. It's very dangerous. And the other way around. The two are of course interwoven, intertwined, and interconnected. That is the reason why I may boldly say that there is no one among us who can dispute that, who can gainsay that. There's no dispute about it, there's no controversy about it. Theory and practice have to go together in order for you to be developed holistically and be ready for the economy. We have colleagues from the field, from the field under the auspices of PRESA, which is a professional body that governs PR and communication practitioners in the country. These colleagues are going to take us through their experiences in the industry, their experiences in the field, and they're going to expect us to interact with them, to deliberate, to have robust discussions about what is happening there in order for us to be enriched, in order for us to be strengthened and established and developed in what we are doing. Please feel free to interact and engage with one another, because I believe that the deliberations and discussions that are going to ensue from this gathering will be beneficial and enriching to all of us. They will help shape our profession better. A reminder for some of you who might have forgotten the theme for today, it reads as follows: the future of PR and communication in the changing world. This is basically and essentially what you are going to dwell on today. I believe it is a bright future for the profession, as it were. Hence this Career Expo. With these few words, have a wonderful and blessed day. Asante sana.
Thank you so much, Prof. Asante sana. We move right along, ladies and gentlemen. And since now that we've been welcomed at these great institutions, especially some of the guests that are coming outside of the institution now are relaxed. I can see some smiles. The cameras here, please just put a smile. You're live. The University of Limpopo on YouTube, please, so that people can see that you are just a happy person. We're gonna go to the purpose of the day. The purpose of the day, I'm gonna call the HOD at the Department of Information Studies, Media and Communication Studies, Prof. Solomon Bupape. Let's welcome him with a round of applause. I wish I can just put some music, Prof, so that you show them that you still have got those skills.
Good morning, everybody, and thanks very much, Director MC, or Director, Program Director. Let me start by acknowledging the presence of the Chairperson of the Public Relations Institute of Southern Africa, Mr. Moses Morera, Kitlo, the Program Coordinator of the Program of Communication Studies, Dr. Tsepo Kasago, the DJ, our guest speaker, who I think will be introduced when time comes, and other speakers who are also going to be introduced at their time. I would also like to acknowledge my boss, the Director of the School of Languages and Communication Studies, Professor Mpoto Mogoboya, academic staff in the Department of Communication, Media and Information Studies, not forgetting other people who have come to represent their respective departments, and even colleagues in the marketing division, including the freelancers and the journalists, and our most important guest, our students in the Program of Communication and Media Studies. You are all welcome. I've been tasked, when I was invited through the word of mouth, they say I'm just going to come and give the message of support. But today when I see at the program, they said, no, I must talk about the purpose of the day. But anyway, I think what I'm going to say, they will be interlinked. What I know about the changing landscape of communication currently, more especially after COVID-19, today we can even negotiate lobola through Zoom or Google Meet without engaging face-to-face. And if my memory serves me well, this event was also organized in the previous year. I remember I was not in during that day, and like Prof. Mogoboya has already said, this is likely to be an annual event. To support this event, our motto at the University of Limpopo is to find solutions for Africa. We need to find solutions to the problem that exist in Africa. So in order to achieve our mission and vision of the University of Limpopo, we only need to collaborate and have partnerships with the external stakeholders like PRISA. Collaboration with PRISA for us is very handy because the chair of the organization is with us here. It's been hosted by the University of Limpopo. So it is an advantage for us to have Mr. Morera being the chairperson of the PRISA, and even having him here as a colleague. Things will be easier for us. This gathering today should be used as a platform on which people that we feed with graduates can tell us what exactly type of graduates they need or they require in the current socio-economic environment. They need to tell us what should we teach to our students so that they should become relevant to the socio-economic needs of the society today. Therefore, input from the stakeholders is very useful for reviewing our is coming at a time when in that sense, I am posing a direct challenge to the people in the program of communication studies. How about we infuse an element of practicum in one of the modules where the students should maybe go out on a field trip to visit organizations like PRISA, organizations that are dealing with communication. We have people who are very much involved in communication. Like when we were introduced today, we were introduced to REMS, who has got their own company. We've been introduced to a lot of people that we are going to meet today. So I'm posing a challenge to the program of media studies. If you did not include the practical element in your proposed new curriculum, please go and retrieve it back and include that thing, because at the moment, as I'm standing as the HOD, I always have visitors from the SRC coming to my office saying that they want to go on a media and communication tour, which is not there in the curriculum. And when we tell them that, they said, no, this thing has been happening in the past, but we cannot continue to do something which is very wrong, because we will one day go and market or look for a new job. So I'm putting it upon the program of communication studies and even media studies to look for elements of field trip in their curriculum, where students can visit those organizations, and when they come back, they can write an assignment or write a report about what they've learned, and then that marks that they are going to get from there should form part of the calculation for semester mark. This is what I'm proposing. And today, I think as we will be engaging, we will be looking into the possibility of that. And with me, I know that I'm coming from the field of library and information studies. I've just been captured into communication and media, and I'm leaving it to the experts today. To the students, please feel free and at home and ask questions wherever you don't understand, and engage with the external stakeholders so that you should know a lot about what is waiting for you outside. Unfortunately, I won't be with you throughout the program. There are some things that I have to clear on my desk before the end of business today. So I'll only come and join you for lunch. Dr. Kasa will call me when it is lunchtime. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Prof. I realize that we have got Prof, and we also have got the director of the school. Prof has just proposed a trip, a field trip. Class rep, can we just set a date so that they can just take a decision now? Should we go to Joburg, where? Durban? Or Cape Town, eh? Cape Town, eh? So when can we go so that we tell them now? Program coordinator Dr. Hasaw is here. We're fine. When? September. 28? When? September, month end September. All right, Prof. Your head. We, as the students of communication on September, we are proposing, we accept Prof's proposal and would like to go to Cape Town. Yes. All right. And I know they're going to make it possible because it's an annual event. That means annually we'll go. Next year we'll go to Durban. And then the other year we'll go to Joburg. The other one we'll go to Vendane. Alright. Let's move right along. Prof has also emphasized that we are here with the chairperson of PRISA Limpopo, Mr. Morero. I see a lot of similarities in quite a lot of them that are here. He's the chairman. When I was still a student, I used to be the president of University of Limpopo English Society, and he took after me. And then he became a chairperson, so he loves being a chairperson. So now he's a chairperson of PRISA. Ladies and gentlemen, the chairman. Just give him a big round of applause. And for now, we're going to go to the introduction of the keynote speaker. On the introduction of the keynote speaker, we have Ms. Cho to come and introduce our keynote speaker. While she's coming there, yes. Thank you. And don't forget we are live. I just see that I'm here. I'm on camera 1, right? Okay, camera 2. I can't see myself. Camera 2, please take me. Camera 3. Okay, cut. Let's take it to camera 1. Miss Makuti.
Thank you so much, Program Director. And good morning to everyone. Good morning to the office bearers, our most important guests, keynote speakers, representatives from the school, and as well as you students. I would also like to send my special greetings to colleagues from our Department of Languages and Communications. We are really privileged to have you here today. So what I'm tasked to do here is to introduce our keynote speaker, Thulisile Phiri. Thulisile Phiri is the Vice Chairperson, CEO and founder of the African Storyteller. Some of you might have come across this, right? Yes, so she is one of Africa's most seasoned business communicators and stakeholder relationship managers. She has 25 years of experience in building, managing, and promoting brands across Africa. She has held senior roles in several multinational companies, including petrochemical company, Total, and US conglomerate, and General Electric. In July 2017, she started the African Storyteller, which is a Pan-African Business Communications and Stakeholder Relations Management Agency. The African Storyteller has worked across the continent of Africa in countries such as Egypt, Eswatini, Ghana, Kenya, Lesotho, Malawi, Namibia, Nigeria, South Africa, Tanzania, Uganda, and Zambia. These include work done for the Africa Cup of Nations, which is AFCON in 2019, and the launch of MyNet Africa brand across Africa, TMH Africa, Exaro Resources, and other clients. In addition, she is an accredited public relations practitioner.
You are placed, right? Oh, perfect. Okay, I think now we are getting there. So my name is Thuli. Let's drop the Thuli Sile. I think that's kind of like, you know, when I'm here with you guys, I can see myself like 25 years ago. So I consider you guys to be my friends. So just see me as your friend. So please just call me Thuli, not Thuli Sile. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here. And before we even start, I would like to actually thank you for affording me the opportunity to really just share my career journey with you. It's really a humbling opportunity simply because I believe that in our very busy lives, very busy schedules, we all still have a responsibility to pay it forward. We all need to make sure that we are contributing to shaping the next generation of leaders, and we need to be intentional about that. So if you remember anything about today, when you are big multimillionaires and billionaires and you are global leaders, just remember that my request to you, when you're in those positions, please remember to make time for the generation of people that come after you. It is absolutely necessary. It's the only way we can change the world. All right, with that said, I'm now going to go into delivering the formal speech. So thank you for having me today. I truly value the time spent with you and you guys. I really acknowledge as the next generation of African and global leaders, because the world is small and you only limit yourself if you think local. You can literally work anywhere in the world. It's an honor. Okay, I think I need to just keep my hand on this thing. It's an honor to engage in this dialogue about the future of public relations and communications management in our ever-changing world. Let me start with reassuring you guys that you've made the right career path. And I know it. Like, I've been in this field for the past 25 years. I've really had the opportunity to work across the world. I've worked in China, I've worked in the US, I've worked in Japan, I've worked in Germany, and I've really worked across the African continent and maybe other countries that I probably am not mentioning. So you're very lucky to actually be in this space. The global public relations industry is projected to be valued at around 106 billion US dollars as of this year. And if we then convert that to South African currency, it's just over 1 trillion rands, right? And what does that mean? It means that we're an industry that is growing. We're an industry that is, that has a lot of opportunities. So whether you want to take full-time employment in corporate, whether you want to explore business opportunities, the one thing that is really constant is that we are an industry that is at the heart of growing economies, that is at the heart of shaping the future of the world, but most importantly, that has the responsibility of ensuring that we do so in a way that is constructive, that is humble, and that actually advances the rights of the less privileged and the voiceless amongst us. Regardless of your specific career path within public relations, one essential truth stands out. Effective and authentic communication is the cornerstone of success today. We live in the world of fake news. We live in the world where almost everybody has become a news generator. The content that you guys post in your social media platforms is actually consumed, and it's really consumed as, content that is news and is newsworthy. So that is just how much we have actually evolved. About 20 years ago, we relied on your traditional media to actually consume content, but today, literally the dependence on of traditional media has actually dwindled, somewhat. I think the countless opportunities that will avail themselves to you require you to be ready, and you need to actually seize them with both hands. Public relations plays a critical role in shaping global economies and creating a better world. Each one of you brings unique talents, aspirations, and visions. Embrace those qualities and be prepared to develop into well-rounded leaders who think globally and act locally, and leaders who are passionate about what they are doing. It's not just about that initial leap into your careers, it's about the journey you undertake along the way. I urge you to cultivate curiosity, agility, adaptability, and passion in everything you do. Every role you take is a step in building your personal brand, your brand equity, and this will serve as currency that you can trade within the industry and the world at large at a later stage. One of the things that I always say is, when I look at young people, I see myself as the person that always raised her hand and volunteered. Whether the job was tardy and not nice to do, whether the job was hard, whether the job required me to travel endlessly, without my family, I would always say, I'm ready and I'm willing. And today I'm happy to say that, I choose which brands I work with. I choose how much I charge. I choose when I want to work, where I want to work, how I want to work, and I set the terms of the relationships that I enter into, simply because I built a very strong foundation and I end to be where I am. So I'm never apologetic about that. So let's take a moment to reflect on the transformative landscape of communication in which we find ourselves today. The digital age has revolutionized the way we interact. Social media platforms are no longer just avenues for sharing updates. They have evolved into powerful tools for shaping narratives, building communities, and igniting social movements. Every tweet, every post, and every story that you share can influence public opinion and foster change. We now live in a world where information travels at a speed that is fast, at a lightning speed actually. Brands have become living entities with personalities and values, requiring them to engage meaningfully with their audiences. The reliance on traditional media is diminishing. We now have the capability to own and share our narratives in real time. However, the newfound power comes with responsibility. Public relations professionals like yourselves are expected to navigate complexities like misinformation and polarization while maintaining integrity and transparency. Your future roles will demand not only effective communication, but also ethical stewardship. Okay, we have a young PR person, and we need to ask him to excuse us because he doesn't understand why mommy can't play with him. Thank you so much. Your future roles will demand not only effective communication, but also ethical stewardship. In this multifaceted PR landscape, understanding your audience has never been more critical. Today's consumers crave authenticity and transparency. Brands that align with these values will connect and foster lasting relationships with their audiences. As future leaders in public relations, you hold the power to shape those narratives, influence perceptions, and drive meaningful change. And I think you need to hone certain skills to actually succeed in this ever-changing space. And this really, for you guys, it means you need to actually be adaptable. Adaptability will allow you to pivot and to respond to change. The upheaval caused by the COVID-19 pandemic exemplified how communication leaders rose to the occasion, allowing the world to connect and combat a common challenge. And I think being adaptable has never been more relevant than now. We never anticipated the COVID-19 pandemic. And if you look at that era, everybody relied on communication. We relied on communication in terms of how to deal with the pandemic itself, in terms of how it was impacting the economies, in terms of when it could likely end, in terms of which countries were actually performing better than others. But most importantly, I think also just in terms of connecting, with families and comforting each other when we needed that comfort the most. I was very lucky and privileged that one of my clients was a mining company, and they were contributing towards, the fight against COVID-19. And I had to lead their interaction with the Limpopo provincial government under the leadership of then Premier Matabata. The current Premier, Mepopi Ramatuba, was actually the MEC for Health. And just seeing how committed and hardworking government was behind the scenes, and me and my team having to then help amplify and simplify that communication was such a privilege that I will forever cherish, because I think it just showed what it means to actually be a servant leader in communications. And in some instances, you guys will be required to actually take the lead and provide your skills when it is actually needed the most. You need to be authentic. I think in a world that's saturated with information, authenticity is key. Audiences are looking for genuine connections. Communicating with authenticity fosters trust and loyalty with your stakeholders. Remember, no one else can offer the perspective that you can. Embrace that uniqueness. We are all communicators, but we all have our unique way of communicating, and you need to actually embrace it. Like they actually say that you can only be yourself because every other person is taken, and being who you are is the biggest power that you have. Just embrace you and your different style of communicating and being able to connect with audiences. And then you need to be strategic thinkers. As communicators, you must think beyond the immediate moment, analyze data, understand your audiences, craft strategic messages to create impactful campaigns that resonate deeply. Your ability to plan for the future while staying grounded in the present is very, very essential. I think you have studied and you're continuing your studying journey, but you will learn that as you proceed to actually be a valued communicators, you need to actually study what is topical now. So climate change is actually topical. You're not going to be able to tell stories if you don't understand how climate change is impacting the world around you. Financial literacy is very important. Understanding communities and what they need is very important. Understanding the world and global trends will also be very important. So continuous learning and self-development is actually quite important, and so is embracing technology. AI, data analytics, and virtual reality are more than just buzzwords. They are tools that you will need in your careers. Embrace these technologies. They are here to stay. They are not going anywhere. They can enhance storytelling, streamline processes, and provide invaluable insights. Yet remember that technology cannot replace the human touch. Your empathy, your creativity and critical thinking will always set you apart in a world increasingly influenced by algorithms. As you contemplate your future roles in PR and communications, please think about the impact that you guys can have. You guys are powerhouses. You are very powerful. Understand that when you've got the president of the country delivering a speech, a communications person has crafted that speech. Understand that when big brands succeed, big brands like your Coca-Cola, like your Toyota, a communications person has actually sat behind and told their story and made them known to our houses, to our communities, and to our countries. That is just how powerful you are. So please use your skills to advocate for social issues, promote inclusivity, and champion sustainability. Consider the brands and the leaders who inspire you. What are their best practices? How can you emulate them in your own unique way in your future careers? Remember, public relations is not solely about managing reputations. It's about building meaningful connections. It's about facilitating dialogues between organizations, governments, countries, and other stakeholders. Essentially, public relations is about building a better world for all. And I think also in a world that is filled with challenges such as climate change, social injustice, misinformation, your role as communicators is more vital than ever. You are not just storytellers, you are change makers. Use your voice to empower other people, drive important conversations, and shape a better future. As I conclude, I'd like to invite you to take proactive steps today. Network, network, network. We now work in a world that is more collaborative, that is more partnership driven, that is not silos based. So make sure that every opportunity to meet people that can add value in your life and that you can add value to is used to achieve exactly that. Engage with thought leaders, participate in events and workshops, embrace opportunities to learn and grow. And lastly, take your role as a communicator as a responsibility that needs to be extended beyond just your formal workplaces, but make sure that your communities, your churches, also benefit from the skills that you actually have, because we are who we are because we come from communities, we come from families. Make sure that giving back is something that you inculcate in your day-to-day life, because you don't know who's watching. But most importantly, I do believe that we grow by being selfless with what we know. So share your knowledge at church level, at community level, at country level, and expect nothing in return, and you will actually, grow in that way. Thank you for your time and your attention and your commitment to shaping the future of public relations, and I wish you a very successful journey, and I will actually be following the journeys of those that have connected with me. I got quite a lot of LinkedIn requests as I was coming here. So again, it's not just about us who have actually done 25 years, it's about you guys basically steering your own 25 years and more, and I wish you success. I know you will succeed, and the future is young. You guys own the future. Seize the opportunities. Thank you so much.
Another huge round of applause. Wow. We are inspired. Thank you so much, Tuli. You said today we're working with Tuli, right? But what she said most importantly is that let's socialize, I'm impressed, Chairperson, I must admit that communicators just know the time. They say no matter how good of a dancer you are, you must sometimes know when to leave the stage. I wish the likes of Tuli would not leave the stage. You guys are keeping up with the time. I'm very much impressed, because this is the kind of program where you guys, because you are communicators, you should just go flow and we knock off at 6 o'clock. But it seems like you guys are keeping it up. When I just read your profile, I just remain inspired that all of us here are writing our own stories, but quickly reminds me of Babum Jabulani's funeral. When they read his obituary, they just said to Babum Jabulani wazalwa Babum Jabulani, wazalwa Babum Jabulani, Babum Jabulani waphila Babum Jabulani waphila and washona. So that means Babum Jabulani has never done anything in this world, never went to school primary, never went to crèche, never worked anywhere, never married a woman, never had kids. He just lived and lived and lived and he died. And I feel like at the likes of Babum Jabulani, whom when they would have left us, we should say rest in peace. But you guys, we should wish that you guys can return if possible. And you guys have started. It started, and then I will always tell you that this is the best place that you guys are, and you are writing your own obituary. And I can tell you, it's not like Babum Jabulani. We move right along. Because I also attempted. Dr. Hassau, as they introduced him as a DJ, I once had a poem, and then I went to his studio and I said, can we please record it and turn it into a hit? We did record it, and after I left, he deleted it. He said that will damage his brand, his label. I'm very much horrible. And that time I had already told people, the likes of Mr. Morero, that my single is coming. So, ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you as a failed artist. But it's fine. We shall meet somewhere. Thank you once more. We move to the panel discussion. I'm going to allow you guys, please note your questions, especially I know that some might also be burning. While on the panel discussion, I'm going to allow the question and answers. Well, also those ones that you're also having as she prefers, so that we can just mix them. They'll be here to answer. It's very important you must ask questions. So on the panel, I'm going to introduce all of them so that they can join us, and then we get right into it. I'm going to start with this gentleman. He goes by the name Mr. Ramoshaba, also known as Jack Rams. He's a prominent public figure in the media and entertainment fraternity. He's a founder and executive director of Mega Artist Media, and currently serves as the chairperson of University of Limpopo Media and Communication Sector Alumni. Jack Rams has contributed notably to the radio stations such as Radio TEF, Energy FM, as a radio broadcaster, music compiler, and content producer. His role also transcends into being a seasoned writer, a journalist, and arts administrator, contributing in the development of creative arts and culture in the province of Limpopo and even in the whole South Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jack Rams, if you could just stand up, let's give him a big round of applause. So I know when I was still a student, I used to be a student assistant, and then he happened to be in my class. Would I be right to say he's my former student? So it's my former student. And then the next one, joining us on the panel, we have got quite inspiring people. The one I'm going to go to now is Puti Mutabo. Is a registered chartered accountant. No, Arthur cut. Did you cut that? Puti Mutabo is a registered chartered public relations practitioner and the immediate past president of PRISA. She heads marketing and communication at Capricorn District Municipality. She's an MBA graduate from University of Limpopo Tevlop Graduate School of Leadership. She graduated top student in the Municipal Finance Program at VETS School of Governance. She holds a BA, Honors and Senior Management Certificate from University of Limpopo, Public Relation Management from PRISA. Ms. Mutabo Puti, as she's affectionately known, she's a member of the Service SITA Community of Experts for the Public Relations subject, and in 2022, She was awarded Outstanding Work in Marketing and Communication by the South African Local Government Association. She served as the Chief Judge for 3 categories in 2002, Prince Awards, Chairperson of PRISA, Limpopo Region for 2 consecutive terms between 2017 and 2021. She has more than 19 years of experience in communication within the local government, having worked in various municipalities. She's also the chairperson of Capricorn Employee Wellness Committee and secretary of the South African Municipal. Just excuse me, this phone just freezes, I don't know. She's the chairperson of Capricorn Employee Wellness Committee and secretary of South African Municipal Workers Union, SAMU, at Capricorn Local. Please, let's give her a big round of applause. And ladies and gentlemen, on the panel we are also blessed to have Meji Makgoba, Dr. Makgoba, who holds an MA in Media and Communication from Newcastle University in England with distinction, and PhD in Journalism from Cardiff University, Wales, where he was a Commonwealth scholar. His PhD interrogates issues of power, ideology and discourse in the framework of black economic empowerment in South Africa. He teaches communication and cultural studies at the University of Limpopo, where he works as a senior lecturer. Makgoba has also worked as a journalist for the Jesmond Local in England. His political commentary has seen him being featured, and his work takes versatile. Saw her as she joined Thobela FM and worked there for almost 10 years. She headed the call to a managerial post in government, where she headed customer care and communication at South African Social Security Agencies known as SASSA. 12 years later, she was appointed Director of Communication in the Office of the Premier. She is the author of The Pillow is My Witness. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give her a big round of applause. The pillow is my witness. Yeah. Oh, it's interesting. The pillow is my witness. So we used to have got this feature on the Wings of Love on Radio Turf. There. Toad was there. We called it. So the pillow. I can just imagine. I'm curious about the book and I'm ordering it. Have it now. Me to buy the book. We're making sense. Anyone who want the book? All right, we have got about 5 sales. More sales. Can I see 10 hands so that I can get 10% from the sales? All right. Yeah. Let's get in our panel discussion. And as the theme is the and communication in a changing world. The future of communication in a changing world. Get your pens ready so that you focus on aspects. So that we can also ask them questions for clarity and also for where we need further understanding. As I introduce them, I'm going to start with Jack Rams. I know you prefer being called Jack Rams, right? Jack Rams, the future of PR and communication in a changing world. We are very much curious. If you could just try that mic and let's see where you're comfortable. Can you press it? Hi, Jack Rams. Yes, sir. All right. The future of PR and communication in a changing world.
Thank you. Is it still morning? Yeah, well, it's still morning. Good morning, everyone. How are you doing? How are you doing? Saying who's a DJ, who's a radio presenter, Dr. DJ Khasakho. Okay, who is interested in managing artists? I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Interesting. So all of you just want to sit in the office and do corporate work, and write media briefs and design posters and flyers for government departments. Okay, I see. But there's no employment there, you know. There is more jobs in the creative sector, in the media and entertainment industry, particularly as a public relations manager and a communication specialist or scientist, because that's a growing industry and it develops regularly, frequently, at a very high speed. So I will speak from a perspective of an art administrator who has been in the media and entertainment industry for about 15 years as a radio broadcaster, specializing in content creation and radio production, technical radio production, and as a presenter. I don't like to be a presenter, but I was forced to be a presenter because that's where you learn everything about radio. So the discussion is the future and of PR and communication in a changing world. So what are we talking about here? We're basically talking about the integration of digital migration, technology that has advanced, where we talk about fourth industrial revolution, we talk about artificial intelligence, we talk about the advancement of phones as small computers from big computers. But how do we do that in the entertainment industry, particularly when we're looking at maybe a development of an artist, any artist in the industry? Could be music, could be DJing, could be drawing, it could be anything that has to do with arts. But I must say that you are also privileged because you are learning the theory of how to develop strategies for public relations and communication, which is something that a lot of artists and media personalities that you see on TV, you hear on radio, you read about on newspapers and magazines and online really do need. But how has that changed from traditional media to digital media? That's how it has changed, and how we used to communicate using those methods and platforms and mediums is no longer the same as currently how we are using it. So the information is almost immediate. It's almost right now, and that has also birthed what we call fake news today, because there's probably lack of verification of information. So everyone these days is basically a content creator who's somehow an unprofessional public relations and communications specialist or practitioner, which is part of the disadvantages of how the public relations and communication has developed and has been disadvantaged and challenged. But it is your responsibility to make sure that with the knowledge and the experience that you have from your theoretical experience and academic experience, to develop methods and ways that will enhance the quality of our public relations and communication. So the tools that we are using today are what has changed in the public relations and communication space. Your cell phone is your most powerful tool that can change your life or destroy your life. And we've seen this with a lot of artists. If you are following social media, particularly your X, which was previously called Twitter, when issues of politics and economics are being discussed, you find that even artists find themselves in those discussions. Unfortunately, their dissemination of information sometimes is off, because most of them, they lack knowledge of what they are talking about. And you find that public relations officers and communication specialists, they normally come to the rescue. So a lot of times you find that artists use PR not as a strategy to develop themselves to be big brands, but they use as a crisis management tool most of the time. So there are a lot of artists. Remember, I'm talking from a creative industry perspective. There are a lot of artists who have blown, who are big artists today, and when we are looking at them from a distance, we are thinking that it happened by mistake. It just happened, they just became overnight sensations. Most of those instances and situations are special situations, like your Skomota situation. You know, it does not happen more often. A lot of artists in the industry, they have to work twice as hard to achieve your shit level of fame and popularity. You know, as public relations and communication experts and practitioners, what we do is we don't deal with special case. We deal with strategic planning and development of a brand and an artist. How many of you, not how many, but you probably know Uncle Waffle, right? Most of you knew him because of a video that trended with her wearing a G-string. That's how you remember her, and that's how you know her as a dancer who became popular on social media wearing a G-string. Most of you who do not know might think that that happened by mistake. Someone randomly took a video and then Uncle Waffle started trending and became popular DJ. Unfortunately, that is the machinery and the planning and the development of a PR agency behind Uncle Waffle. It was not by mistake. It was strategic. So there's a team that sits down and decides how they're going to develop their artist and where they want to position their artist. So simple thing that they do is Uncle Waffle must have a photographer, a professional photographer, someone who's assigned to take pictures and videos. It's not by mistake. That person is at work as part of a PR strategy and how they're going to communicate to introduce an artist like Uncle Waffle to the world. And if you check her today, she's an international superstar. But if you do not know, you would think that it happened by chance. It did not happen by chance. It happened by the strategy of a PR agency. Similarly, you have people like Tyler. Give me water, make me wet. Right? She's not where she is today by chance, by her own talents. She's not a Grammy Award winning artist just because she can sing. Everybody can sing. You must understand it in context. Don't think you can sing. But yeah, everybody can sing, right? But to be where the likes of your Tylers and your Uncle Waffles and many other artists are, it is because they took and understood what PR and communication is by using digital media, which is your social media, where they position themselves in a strategic situation that will elevate them to become a big brand. Because what a PR and communication does is to, you know, make someone look good, make you look good, taking care of a brand. So essentially, in summary, in conclusion, the PR and communication in this changing world is through those tools that are at your immediate accessibility that you can utilize to make yourself a big brand. You know, like these big cameras and editing softwares, I could say that we don't necessarily need them, because when you go on YouTube today, there are movie makers and filmmakers from Nigeria who use their phone, and when you watch the movie, you wouldn't even tell that the movie was made from a phone and an editing app. How many of you use CapCut here to edit for your TikTok and your reels on social media? CapCut. Guys, are you sure you are communication and media, and are you sure? I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced. What do you, Viva Video to edit? You don't know. What do you use? CapCut, right? Because CapCut is now the world leading editing tool. People make movies and music videos using CapCut through their phones. They just load. They just load, edit. It edits like when you see a huge movie production. CapCut can do that. It can do that. So that's how these things, they have changed, and how we communicate from a creatives industries perspective. There's a lot that we can talk about. Like Masoma said, we're gonna flow. Now I flow, guys. I talk the whole day, every day. Remember, I'm from a radio background. I talk for 3 hours on the radio non-stop. I only stop when there's music and ads to play, but otherwise I will just talk and talk and talk. But I did not want this to sound like an academic presentation, I wanted it to be so casual and informal, so that you can get the gist of how the PR and communication has really changed and developed through digital migration, the fourth industrial revolution, artificial intelligence, and the use of social media. So that's what makes a lot of artists in this industry successful, because they've found that thing that they were looking for. They had to wait for these big cameras. Now they don't have to. And those people, what they do with content creators is that they plan. Like, I get a lot of people thinking that everything happens by mistake. Like the content that you see, what we call TikTokers, do they show you behind the scene? Some do, ne? Something that takes 30 seconds, it's shot 100 times, at least maybe for 3 hours, to be perfected so that it can entertain you. That's how much work goes into the background. And they might not know it, but that is a work of a PR, because like a PR is making the brand look nice. That's what PR is. That person works for 3 hours to give you 30 seconds of something that is remarkable. He gives you an interpretation or something that will excite you and entertain you. So that's how much these things have changed. That's how much we have developed in communication. So lastly, a situation that happened, I tried to interview an artist. The artist said, send me questions. We sent questions, and after seeing the questions, they said, no, I'm not going to do this interview. They take those questions, they give the questions to the PR specialist, and they say, this radio station, they send me these questions, they want me to answer this question. I don't know what to say, and I know if I try to answer this question, I'm going to get myself into trouble. So the PR specialist took the questions, answered the questions, but they did not bring the questions back to me, because they realized that there's going to be a follow-up question anyway, right? So it's not going to be a straightforward answer and then we leave it like that. We are journalists. We can always find a loophole in anything. So they took those questions and answers, they put them on social media, and now it became a whole discussion on social media. They now manipulated and directed the conversation and the narrative away from us. So they took content away from us. So I was disappointed, but I was like, this was a good PR strategy, because the artists, they saved their, their character and their personality and their image, because I was gonna grill him anyway, interrogate him, embarrass him, and then he starts saying things that he's not supposed to say. But with good PR, he was able to answer those questions and post them elsewhere where they can control what needs to be said, and that is communication in itself. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jack Rams. Yo, so insightful. But just one advice, please don't attempt to sing again. You're just like me, that's why they deleted my song. But you are right about Tyler. Used to sing things, but now she's all over the cover of the biggest magazines you can ever think about in this world. Ladies and gentlemen, I still have got a panel, and the next one, I only know two Puti. The other one is just a cleaner who tries to be a receptionist at TEF Hospital, but hey, unzima that side. Melita does not want to leave. But this Puti, I know Miss Motapu, she's the head of marketing. She heads marketing and communication at Capricorn District Municipality. So she knows much better about PR and communication. And now I would like to hear from her the future of PR and communication in a changing world. Miss Motapu, the time is yours.
Thank you so much. And this Puti here was once like you, sitting there. And today I'm sitting in front of you, and I'm happy to be here. I will say, look, PR, you can't take it away. It is here. They have already indicated, our keynote speaker, that we are the future. We had always been the future, but with what has happened with COVID, it has shown us that we are important. And if you look at what has been happening, is that when institutions, the first department that gets to be the victim of budgets becomes communications. But now they have turned, communication is now being seen as a strategic department within organizations. And it is very critical that within organization, you have a communications team that is very strong, and must have also the communications team that and keep abreast with keep top steward voice. I will use it when I'm struggling here. That's an indication that PR is here to stay. I attended one workshop, and in the workshop the IT presented. So when the IT guy was presenting, he said to us, he came with all the AI, the digitalization, presenting all these things that are artificial intelligence. And then he ended up saying, yeah, we don't need communicators. If you are doing graphic design, you must just divert your studies and see which course else, which other course you should register for. And I said, no, you should know that there's a difference between AI and what we are doing. AI is here to enhance the work that we do. It's here to assist us. If you look at it as a way of assisting communicators to enhance their messaging, you will realize that PR will never go anywhere. And I'm saying that because in terms of everything that we are taking out there, we take it out as a message. And every message that we are taking it out, it has to be crafted somewhere. You cannot rely on AI to craft your messages and think that at the end of the day you are going to appeal to your audience. AI will not teach you how to be a responsible communicator. It will not teach you how to be empathetic with your messaging. It will not teach you to be sympathetic. AI is not human. It does not have the human element. As much as the researchers and all that are trying, they are failing in capturing the human element within AI. That is the power that PR has of crafting messages, connecting with audiences, being empathetic, and other emotional intelligence that human beings have, which other machines do not have. And that is our selling point as PR. But in a way, we all differ in how we do what we do. One of the things that we look at as I will talk now as the Public Relations Institute of Southern Africa, and also the public relations as a whole, is to look at the issue of responsible communication. Given what has happened and what has been happening, and with digitalization and also the messages that are coming, misinformation and fake news and everything else. So it is very much important to talk about responsible communication. And this is some of the things that are advocated for by professional bodies. Responsible communication, communication that is non-sexist, that is not discriminatory, that is not gender biased, gender insensitive. We are looking at all those things that become a base of responsible communication. So with PR at the center of all the messages that we are crafting, and you guys where you are, you get to be trained. As somebody who has not been trained in PR, in communication strategies, in the development and the basic of PR, they will not understand why you need to have a team that is behind you. They will not understand why certain corporates have to have specific teams that work on PR, because they do not have the background that you have, and you are at an advantageous position because you are being taught these things here at varsity or at school, which is something you cannot just wake up and learn. And the art that you are learning of PR, on daily basis, you sharpen it. On daily basis, you have to practice it. On daily basis, with what you do, you fine-tune the art of PR and communications, and you will differentiate yourself from the next person. The other thing is you need to know where your strength lies. There are people that are good with being in the background, those that are strategists. There are people that are good in the front. There are people that are diversified. Anywhere you put that person, they're able to mingle around and go here and there and do what they want. So what you are saying is, as you do that, you need to understand that responsible communications is one of the things that becomes a base in what you are doing on a daily basis, especially if you are going to work for institutions or even work for yourself, because you want to brand yourself as somebody that clients can rely on, as somebody that is authentic, as somebody that will assist brands to build messages that are going to be selling, and also messages that are not going to be counter to what the brand actually is selling out there. So, and speaking to you, it doesn't have to be through words only. What you do in terms of audiovisual does talk. What you do in terms of design speaks a certain. All of that is important within the PR. And when you talk of PR in the changing world, in the future, in digital spaces, we are looking at PR and digitalization being a sister and a brother. One cannot do without the other, because we can't do away with technology. But we can use technology to advance what we have, what we are learning, and what we will be learning in the future, and embrace technology so that you look at them as intertwined. So it's very much important to look at that. But let me also say that there are also avenues where you celebrate the good work that is being done by the PR and the creative industry. And as PRISA, we've got what we call the PRISM Awards. You can Google that, you'll get it. We've got what we call the PRISM Awards. It's a creative industry. What is being done in terms of brands, advertisement, what you put into the work, the brain that goes behind certain big brands that you see across the nations. So those kind of awards, as they celebrate creative work that is being done, you need to look at them and say, one day I want to be part of the brands that get to be celebrated, because it's not only about the work that you do, but you are also selling yourself. It's also a network opportunity, and it's also a business opportunity on its own. So there's a lot that is happening within PR, but I was just disappointed when they asked you about one app here. You looked down. Guys, you are behind if you are not using those things. People that are above 50 years are using those apps, and you in your 2000, you are not even using those apps. You are behind. You're going to find yourself being challenged, that you get to a certain places where you want to take opportunities or make use of opportunities, and they ask you about certain things you want to know, but you don't know. Search around. The apps are here to stay. Digitalization, you can't take it anywhere. So you can't rely only on TV. You must also go on your phone and Google and do all those things that apps are doing. So in PR, we are not only talking about reading and writing. It goes beyond that. I just said the two, digital, AI, and other messages and other things, they need each other. We can't do without the other. So you need to learn those things. Whether you are working in government or not in government, even government nowadays, it went beyond what we used to know. So if you want to be relevant, you need to keep up to date with the developments of the digital world and see what is happening. PR is digitalizing, but the brains behind the messaging will never change. We really do need that. But you can't do that without the knowledge of what is happening in terms of digitalization. Also equip yourself within that regard. And I think it's also a challenge to the university that in terms of their curriculum, how advanced are they in terms of these other things digital-wise within the communications department. So it's something it's a topic for another day. But please, you need also to know what is happening.
Indeed, Ms. Mutabu. Thank you so much. I just have Ms. Mutabu, while I'm with you, just in a minute, very curious, as PRISA's immediate past president, from a professional body perspective, what would you say is important in the sector currently? Just in a minute, what do you think is important in the sector currently?
I think what is very important is understanding that artificial intelligence is here to stay. And there is nothing that we can do about it. We need to advance ourselves within the AI space and understand that AI is here to advance the work that PR is doing. And we need to make use of those platforms, responsibly so. Thank you.
Just as if you were reading my mind. But last one before I go to Dr. Makgoba. What are the practices that may lend PR and communication practitioners in hot water? I'm sure you deal with that quite a lot, but generally, what are important ethical considerations in the sector?
I think one that is very much important is to understand that I just spoke about responsible communication. You can be a good communicator. Your timing of messages does count. And your emotions do not count. You must know, if you are sending out messages on behalf of a client, it's never about you. we need to understand that as PR person, it is not about you. It is about the client or the brand that you are representing. Even if it's brand yourself, it's myself as a brand that I'm representing. What do I want people to know about me? Being responsible, non-sexist, non-discriminatory. You don't want people to fight as a result of misinformation or fake news, and being irresponsible. And the timing, I spoke about timing. It's one of the most important. Something it may be right, but the timing may be wrong. So it's a responsible use of social media also that is very critical when it comes to responsibility within the PR.
Thank you so much. A big round of applause for her once more. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to come to you, Doctor, but there is just something. Please just allow me in between. I've got Apani Simpati was supposed to render us a poem, but as you know, that artists are quite busy. She unfortunately have to go to Polokwane to do part of her work. So would like to put her in between so that she can be released and go to Polokwane for other commitments. Ladies and gentlemen, from Performing Arts Center, Apani Simpati, come and bless us with your poem.
Greetings everyone. My name is Apani Simpati. I'm doing final year, Performing Arts Center. I would like to say thank you for this opportunity. Basadi sichaba sagesho le ma Afrika borwawe. Tloyang ditsebe le tsinkelele buka ditaba tša go tanya boka manepe a dinosi. Bomme ke mmemeng ke mmalerato ke mmasetšhaba o tsejwa ka la ngwanesho. Halala dikgošigadi dikgomogolo ba boši ba mašimashweu. Hello daughters, hello sisters, hello mothers and grandmothers. I am a woman, whether thin, thick, short, tall, dark, light, she is a woman. I am the queen with the capability of leading, not a slave in a room, but an organizer in a home. Izimbogodo. Bara mosadi o swara thipa ka bogaleng. Gore mbogale ba thipa bo rotisha dipelo le pelle la madi. Ibang bomma mogaleng ngatana ti ya go tiati. A popular culture. They say when a man comes home late, wash his hands, give him food, and turn off the light. If you're mistreated, seal your mouth and turn a blind eye. What I hear is an old story that should be erased in this era. What I hear is a song played from a great CD that has already expired. What about uniting? What about communicating? This is a generation of change. This is a generation of better communication, sending messages through poems, plays, theories, and educating. They come, but I'm the strongest who plant the seed, nourish it, and I watch it until it grows. I am a woman who waters deep into the roots that was planted in 1956. I'm a vicious woman like Lillian Goy, Albertina Sizulu, Sophia Williams, the brain in my own generation. If it's the head, then I'm the neck. The head without the neck is undirected. Today I rejoice when I reflect on a mirror. As an entrepreneur, a doctor, a teacher, a farmer, a soldier, ma Africa burawe. What about being a woman president? They call them silver stripes. I call them roots of fruitful tree. I bold, I am big, I am informed, I am strong. I am proud to be new generation that knows a better communication. Be proud to be who you are. Thank you.
Wow. Hey, Apan. Yes, you are the best. Let's do more. Let's just make noise. Noise, Apan, 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 Apan. Thank you so much. We're moving right along. Ladies and gentlemen, Doctor, thank you for allowing us, as we allowed Apani to bless us. What a poem, I must admit. I believe you have seen it all. You have traveled the world. You have studied here. You've studied in different places. You have been prepared as a student yourselves. And now you are preparing students. So my question to you, Dr. Makhoba, as a senior communication lecturer, what kind of would you say they graduate ready to confidently take up important roles, whether in public or in private sector? Would you confidently say that, and why?
I think that's our ambition, and I must say that it's one of our biggest struggles, because our university is a black institution and we are dealing with people with past traumas. And when I talk about trauma that relates to the capacity to read. When you are studying communication, you have to be a reader. It's not something that the lecturer should tell you to do. It's something that you should basically do as an individual, because the space is fast changing, the space is fast moving. As lecturers, sometimes we teach in a vacuum, because when we review a curriculum in every 5 years, some of the things would have already changed, so the ship would have sailed. So as a result, we are struggling with those challenges that basically the students have to understand that when they are in humanities, they must come with 50%, and we bring the 50% because humanities is about critical thinking, and those are the skills that we strive to inculcate or impart them to. But I must say that the struggle is quite big, because we live in the era of IA intellectuals, where students just simply go to ChatGPT to plagiarize assignments. And I'm glad you guys are here, because if the message is coming from lecturers, they don't take us seriously. It's better when it's coming from elsewhere that they need to do certain things in order to prosper as students. And something that I like to emphasize, because part of being a lecturer involves being a motivator. I always tell them that my responsibility is to make them feel guilty about their bad attitude. So one of the important things that they need to do is that they are not in institutions of high learning by mistake. They have matric. Completing matric in South Africa is a big deal. You can check the people we've started grade R with and check the numbers at grade 12. They've significantly declined. And once you understand that reality, that you are blessed, that you have been given an opportunity, you will start taking your life seriously. But as I've spoken with my third year students, I'm not yet satisfied that they are where I want them to be. I want them to, when I come to class, when I ask about recent issues that are happening in the media, they should be aware, because they will be dealing with information spaces, and this is an opportunity for them to start getting in touch with those spaces. You do not become a communication professional after completing your degree. The moment you set your foot at a university, you must now start defining your professionalism, because that's where your bread is gonna come from. And I've also emphasized that education has its own challenges. Some people go to university to lose certain skills. And my emphasis is that if you are doing communication, and God has blessed you with the gift of poetry like we've seen, or the gift, any sort of gift that you might have, do not get rid of it, because you might not know what's going to happen tomorrow. And I think what I personally strive for, I identify myself as a black radical thinker. Before I finished my PhD, I think I was considered a liberal. Then somebody gave me Biko syrup. And after I took Biko syrup, my world views changed and how I view black people. And I've always emphasized that as black people, we have to run 100 times faster just to catch up with an average white person. Why? Because life is difficult for us. And I want us to understand that as a lecturer, I'm also a pastor. Pastor, somebody who gives pastoral care, not muruti. So those are the things that they also affect the educational space, because education has to be culturally, socially informed. We are not teaching empty vessels or empty shells. We are teaching humans. Here I see people that would be the first in their families to graduate, and it means that you guys have serious responsibility. But I have said, you guys, especially my honors, they know that I vent a lot, because I'm not satisfied with the type of attitude that we get from you. And I'm glad we have visitors here. They will tell you from their experiences that out there it's quite tough. To be a communication person in the South African context, you simply need matric, because the competition is there. Especially if you go to government spaces, they don't mind to give somebody with matric to head a communication department. You who are studying communication now have a serious responsibility to stand out. And this message cannot be overemphasized. We need to take that responsibility, because we have so much potential, and the future of this country is in our hands, and we mustn't take it for granted. We must go work the field and work the ground and ensure that we keep in touch with what is happening in the world. You cannot be in a communication space, but all you do is to read the slides from your lecturer. Some of the students, I asked them, how many textbooks were prescribed for your undergrad? They'll say, 8, 10, 12. And I'll ask the second question, how many have you read? Only one person would normally raise their hand and say, I have read the textbook, because you know what they normally do? Others don't even buy them. Price. Instead of building a library, they sell the books, which means that there's this attitude, and this attitude is connected to the black condition, where we see education as just a short phase, not an identity, not a personality, not a character. And until as students we understand that education is not something that you do once off and HIL, because motlogon piano le TSI le frontal, and I think we need to come to realization that we have so much responsibility, basically because of being of the black condition. Being a black person in South Africa is quite difficult for the simple reason. Since 1994, the ANC has been advancing a neoliberal capitalism, which has sold out, because as black people, we are not being taken seriously as people. That's why Thabo Mbeki came with the concept of Vuka Uzenzele. They told us Vuka Uzenzele, but they've never given us the resources to empower ourselves, which means that the responsibility lies with you, because your parents, the community, has so much hope, and you mustn't disappoint us with the little that you can do a day. And I always ask my students that you must sometimes do a time audit of your day. You have 24 hours. Check what's happening in that time. And some of them you discover that 8 hours cannot be accounted for. 8 hours. Then multiply 8 hours by 365. How many hours would have gone under the drain? And I think we have so much potential. but we are still struggling with the black condition because we don't come from reading cultures. I can tell you a story. I only started reading when I was 21 because I was socialized in this way. I would go to school reluctantly because even when I started school, I didn't love school. My mother actually kept me in school. In 1994, when I started grade R, they'll take me to school. When the teacher, I'd take your eye. And I did that consistently for the whole year. Because even that year, they did not have a report of me because and my mother saw the potential in me and kept mooring me until next year I started doing other kids were doing. So what I'm trying to emphasize here is that we have the big responsibility to develop a reading culture. Technology, but let's go work on those basics. The capacity to read for comprehension. If you listen to Stats SA, they are complaining that majority of graduates in South Africa can't read and write. And now you're going to expect somebody who can process information to come and use IA. It's not going to be possible. They're just going to do cut and paste. And as I've said, it's also my responsibility to make you feel guilty about the stuff that you're doing. But my personal struggle is that, firstly, we have to love ourselves. And when you love yourselves, you will be serious about the life that you are living. Because I think as black people, we have been robbed the love of self. And I think we must go through that restorative process of dignity and come to a situation where, or a realization where we love ourselves. And by loving ourselves, we're going to inspire others to do the same. And as a result, we will ensure that when we come to school, we are ready to learn. And unfortunately, there's no restorative justice in South Africa. You and I are on our own. Because said it, black men, you are on your own. So it is your responsibility to prepare yourself for the bigger future. And that future lies in your hands. Firstly, balandi buga. Moto atlero schema di buga nyaka di slide. And I think if we can get that right, that as a student, make sure that you read all your prescribed textbooks and you run with that. You are already 10 steps ahead of many people because we have a culture of people who do not read. And we perpetuate it even to the next generation. And I think for us, that should be the starting point, that we must all be readers. It shouldn't be that you guys are coming to class to collect slides. Because if I was to talk about our program is structured in this way. Some students do language in their first year. Some do translation. If you are majoring in communication, you do English and you do an African language, but you also do media studies. And I think if you look at these things from a pedagogical perspective, there's a reason why you are a communication major and you are doing media studies. It's for you to get exposed to the operations of the media. But because we are struggling with the mentality of cram, pass and forget, we are missing the plot. The curriculum is very intentional. We are dealing with what we call constructive alignment, which means that every little module that goes into the program must give us a final product. Then it then becomes your responsibility as a student to make sure that in all the modules that you have enrolled for, you excel. Importantly, to emphasize the fact that English is a media university, but majority of us here are still struggling with expression. We see it at honors and masters that we retrieve because you guys are not coming to party. And I normally use this saying, and it's I'm still young, so I use this sort of language. So it's just to emphasize that be serious and get a little bit out of the comfort zone so that you are able to identify the things that you are able to do. I was happy to hear that Arthur is a failed singer. I'm also a failed journalist. When I studied communication, my major was in media studies. I wanted to be a journalist, and it didn't happen. Although I did some work in the UK as a sports reporter, but my dream of being a journalist never came to realization, mainly because I'm here, stuck with you, venting every day about the things I'm not happy about. And I'm sure that's all I want to be remembered for, that when you see me, what the things that I would not expect, you call me a lecture. And the calling a person a lecture is this tradition that people don't read. They don't know that the lecturer, the R in lecturer is not silent, is a lecturer. And if we start with that small issue, we will have solved many of our. It would mean now the students are getting it, that more university are at la pala. And I think some of us think you are free. No black person is free in this country. You are just prolonging your suffering, because the time you open your eyes, the ship has sailed, and you will have no one but yourself to blame. I'm not a motivational speaker, but because I also have some pastoral touch in me, I like to touch on these issues, because it is also our responsibilities as lecturers to make sure that we prepare the students for learning. And one way to prepare you for learning is to remind you that you have to give us the 50%. Give us the 50%, we give you the 50%, then we move. Because here we are not in the business of chasing your assignment. There's been points where I used to call people, got your cell phone number, check out where is the assignment, and you're gonna say, or ask, Mamang since I regulate yes, I'll get the ramot. What they would have worked hard for the things they have, and that comes with set. Ask yourself this simple question: why am I doing communication? What is it that I need to do to come out good professional? And once you answer your problems.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm also glad that you also my second, but what importantly to note from what you just mentioned is that you don't teach empty vessels, you're teaching human beings here. Passionate as you wish them, they can be their studies. Very much, doctor. Sorry to be a failed journalist. I would have done it better. But doctor has, but I don't art. As a director of
You know what? It's because the future is just too bright. Are you all good? All right, I will get to answer your question, but a quick, very, very quick one. I'm from the public sector. I'm going to how agile are you? And move with time. Navigate your way through whatever that you will be dealing with. Remember, as some of us are in government, the number one office in the call, inquiry. You need to think on your feet. And you don't just answer. What are you bringing to the table? Your multimedia
apparatus? What do you have and how do you package? Are you able, the apps they were talking about, if we are in a session of this nature, are you able to sit and just in a jiffy compile a docu-series and say, we are here at the university and this is what, and then we zoom into one speaker to the other and we have one comprehensive, less than a minute, that will tell a person that I'm here doing 1, 2, 3. Those are the skills, very sharp skills. But lastly, in this environment, even an old dog cannot afford not to learn new tricks. Thank you.
Interesting. Yeah, even a new dog. I like this new dog one. Yeah, dog. I'm gonna learn a new skill, eh? All right, Ms. Matlabiane, while we're still together on you, second one, because you are more than an inspiration, you are the rightful person to hire them, and they need to milk as much as possible. I'm still gonna give you time to can answer, ask them questions and media practice. What are your top skills?
Nothing beats being informed. 1, 2, nothing beats being aware. You know, there are people who are certificated, there are people aware. I need a person who is aware of their environment, a person who can forecast. If we are dealing with a story today, come and tell me your analysis of the story and let us prepare. What does it tell if we have
at the airport in Moscow? No, it's not about you. You get there, you work. So attitude matters. That's the first thing. I think the second thing, when we actually look at skills, right? I can't overemphasize this. The world is changing so fast. The pace of change has never been this fast ever in the world. And also the pace of change in our own specific environment has never been this fast. So the skills that you are bringing from university and wherever else, they are as good as yesterday. The minute you walk through my door, I need you to tell me what are the new skills that you need to learn in order to survive, right? You are going to work with people from all over the world. You need to understand different cultures. That is very important. So you're not going to come and say, no, Mina, I'm from South Africa, we work 8 to 5, and we work Monday to Friday. It doesn't work like that. If you're going to work in Tanzania, it's a very much of a Muslim country. So Friday is their day of worship. Be prepared to start your week on a Sunday, right? So I think the skills, it's really just having a global mindset, but most importantly, being deeply rooted in your local environment and understanding it. Somebody spoke about what are you bringing to the party. Your biggest strength that you guys don't see sitting in this room, and this is your biggest currency, is your deep understanding of South Africa and taking that to the world. Because we've got people that want to interact and do business here, whether they are working with government, whether they are working with business, whether it's artists and you're working with artists from all over the world, they will not understand this market better than you. But the reason why we have so many people coming from outside the continent coming here and basically talking authoritatively about what South Africa is, dress according to where you are going to start with, because you are a brand. So take yourself seriously, okay? In the same way that you're not gonna go to church in a swimsuit, that's kind of like exaggerated, right? Do not go to work in a manner that presents you as if you are not somebody that is worthy of that position. Dress in a way that people will actually stop, listen to you, and take you seriously. And then I think lastly, for me, and I'm very passionate about this, right? So the skill that I also think, it's not even a skill, I think it's just something that I feel people need to actually have in them. It's the ability
to actually be involved in your immediate environment, whether it's your community or anything. Because to me that says you are bringing to the party the spirit of Ubuntu. Let us not lose that. Let us not lose who we are. Because when all is said and done, through our work, we are all trying to demonstrate the best capabilities and have very big portfolios of work that we have done. But when all is said and done, we're trying to create a better world. And let us not lose that humanness. So that is what I'd be looking for.
Interesting. Interesting, and I couldn't agree with you more. Because they are practical. Once they become very active in their communities, trust me, you will make it. I want to give an example, which is a personal one, because I did not know where it came from. So as we continue to do this community engagement and stuff, and I get an email this year, and I'm told that I've been nominated for Sunday World Unsung Heroes, and ended up being chosen as 2024 Sunday World Unsung Heroes by just the little work that we do in our community, just applying our skills from what we learned from the university into our communities, just to make sure that we uplift our own communities. And I think that's the point she's making, and I'm a living testimony of that. Thank you so much. Now, I think I've just been asking and asking. I want to give it to you guys. You've got burning questions. This is the moment. This moment is a rare. It might never come again. Please do not mind who is here. Just focus on yourself. This is the only chance you can ever come close, you know, to Miss Matlebiani, to Miss Motapo, to Miss Ntuli. They are here, Ramashaba, even Dr. Mahoba. Please, that question, in a raise of hands, I'm going to take first round of 3. If you could just raise your hand. First round of 3. Noted, say. Noted. Noted. You go and you come, and then you'll be the last. Direct your question. If you're directing it, for example, to Dr. Mahoba, and say, Dr. Mahoba, this is the question, and then they will note it down, and then you come with your question, note it down, and then you come with your question, note it down, and then the first speaker which the question has been directed to will start with the reply, and after the next speaker comes, you go say. By the way, you look flamboyant.
Good day, everyone in attendance. My name is Masilo Mafa from a company called Mesh Experience. Mine is more of a proposition for Tuli. It's not a question. We are one of the organizers of an event called Sculpting Synergies. The event is informed and guided by the Trans-Limpopo Spatial Development Agreement between the cities of Polokwane and Bulawayo in Zimbabwe. So what we are looking to do with the event is to facilitate conversations and activities that speak to development, access and growth within the fine arts sector in the Southern African region. Obviously, fine arts is focusing on, but there are other sectors that are to be impacted by the event. So what I'm interested in is having an engagement with you on how we can collaborate with the African storyteller to position Sculpting Synergies for corporate investment and partnership.
Sorry, I think you just note it, and then you come with the question. I'm just taking 3 not to confuse. Note it so that when you answer them, we answer them. It's noted. You can go.
We thank for this opportunity. My name is Ronald Semono. I'm from a company by the name of Vukuzenzele Mobile Car Wash and Cleaning Service. You really touched me deep down in my heart, all the keynote speakers. My question that I would like to ask goes to Mr. Ramushava and Ms. Ntuli. It's how can a mobile car wash service establish a strong brand identity and reputation? Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Moabelo Chanel, and I'm a student doing Bachelor of Arts in Media Studies, 2nd level. My question is going to, I don't know if it's Mr. Ramukoba on the far left, on your far left. Dr. Makhuba, you emphasized more on defining our professionalism and starting at university, not after graduating. How do we stand out if we are not out there? You said something important about someone who has only matric being given a job in the government, maybe being a head of communications in a company or manager of communications. That takes me to a place whereby I'm asking myself, why am I doing it if someone can do it? Why isn't the school treating us like those other students who are doing different courses? Why are we doing more theoretical work than practical? Isn't it like easy to take us to maybe, not Cape Town, South African Broadcasting Corporation in Polokwane, so that we can see them doing the work, so that they can see us, maybe they be like, university students were here today and we saw very competent students. We are having like students in communication who will grow our business. Remember that we are flowers that are being watered by you, and we choose if we want to grow or not. That's my question.
Thank you. You're going to start with answer Ms. Piri, then after Ms. Ntuli, then Doctor.
So awesome. I think contact details, maybe follow me on LinkedIn, I'll accept, and then we'll take the conversation forward.
Yes, Ms. Matlabiani, Ntuli.
Which one was mine? The car wash one. But before the car wash, can I quickly deal with the government? It would be wrong to say in government we hire people with matric to head communication. That would be very wrong. Yeah, let me clear that one. When we advertise positions, there is a unit that would look at that, organizational development. The OD will look at that, they will evaluate a position to say this position would be better handled by this person at this NQF level. So the DPSA, it's the custodian of that. So I don't want you to go out there with the mentality that in government we have managers that only have matric. So they're different managers. You would have a manager, an assistant manager, a manager, senior manager, and there will be an NQF6 for a certain manager. They go with levels and scales. You have your 10, 11, so that one is clear. Are we all good? Okay. Is the future still?
There's a mic somewhere.
The car wash issue. My question to you would be, there are many car washes. I can open a car wash now. It's a very easy thing to open. Right here, right now. Seilanyana Ziasha. The question is, what is it about yours that stands out? What experience do you want the owner of the car to take away from that? I'm going to give an example. There's a recently established one in Polokwane. They're using this card system where you wash, after 3-4 washes you get a wash free, but also, but we don't wash by hands. It goes through the warawara, it goes the other side. You see now, it stands out. I want to go there. And there's this one. You know what? I would just go there because I love their slogan. They will take time when you are there. You will even be impatient. Until I saw their slogan, they said, we are not slow, we are thorough. But what am I saying to you? It cannot just be a car wash and you expect miracles. It can't be. It's a car wash, but with what? What are you? Is it a car wash? Is it a place where people can also hang out? Is it a place where I can go on a Sunday and also read my newspaper? Is it a place where there's a shisanyama? They always go with the shisanyama. But even then, what is it about yours that will stand out? Over and up, for now, let's forget about the funding. You, the type of a car wash. Will it be a car wash with your cream white leather couches? I'm just throwing in ideas that what is it that you are selling? Remember, it's not just washing a car. It's providing an experience. Are you saying come and relax while we wash your car? Come and network? So look at all those other things so that even if you are given a lotto of some kind, you will know how to use it. Because if you don't, you will still have that car wash with no one coming, and then Rawana, I blew it.
Thank you so much. And I'm just for my panel, just please keep them to 1 minute the answers so that we cover as much questions. And then what we can do, if you feel like your question hasn't been answered more, you still want more, we're still gonna mingle Julian Ranch. Just make sure you approach anyone, they're all free and friendly. They can emphasize more. Doc?
Thank you very much. I appreciate the question, but firstly, I also have to correct the phrasing of the question. I think there's a misconception in our society that theory is not practice. Theory in itself is practice because it involves cognitive abilities, it involves thinking. Thinking is action. We need to establish that first. Secondly, the university has Kiaga magazine. I'm glad to be one of the founders of the magazine. If you are interested in journalism, you can get in touch with people from marketing. And I also know that they have some sort of, Moses, what do you call your TV channel?
It's called Inside UL News.
There's also Radio Turf. But thirdly, the sky is the limit. You can start a blog. I started writing in 2008 because I was blogging, and marketing gave me an internship based on what I was blogging on Google Blogs. So sometimes the opportunities are within us, but we ignore them. If you are fishagalelwa and you want to get somewhere else, I would encourage you to start a YouTube channel, which is free. You can start a blog. They call it WordPress. It's also free. You can start Google Blog, which is also free. The opportunity of having our course have a practice of a balance of theory and practice, the coming review is addressing that, but I also needed to emphasize that theory does not mean it's not practice. That we need to bear in mind.
Thank you so much, Doctor. I'll afford that question. I wanna just note it, Chakrams. Please note it on that one. Let me take the last round. My timekeeper is just signaling for me. One last round. Pending questions? Can I see? Noted. Yeah, I'm gonna start from top. Shoot.
Thank you for this opportunity. My question is directed to Mr. Jack Rams. It's on the issue of PR strategies. My question is, let's say for instance, I am a PR specialist or I have a PR agency, and I happen to use the same strategy that was used to bring Uncle Waffles into fame, or rather a similar strategy. So my question is, won't that have like a bad effect on my brand or my image? Or is it just gonna be a thing of saying that I carried out a good strategy and got the job done? Or is it a thing that's gonna be like the way I approach the situation is wrong? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. My question is directed to any of the panelists. If you are an entry-level PR professional, what are the salary expectations?
Yes. All right. Abba? Last one.
Thank you very much. So mine is not necessarily a question, but a comment that I'm hoping to get some affirmation from the females in the panel. So my name is Abba, and I am doing my research in science communication, and I'm focusing on the effects of premenstrual dysphoric disorder, which affects women who are in their premenstrual phase, and basically it makes you a bit crazy. You are irrational, you're making impulsive decisions, you're not on time, you're sleeping a lot, or you're not sleeping at all. And this is a monthly thing, and I think because it's Women's Month, and a lot of us women, especially within the African context, we grow up and our periods are a personal thing. It's a thing you keep to yourself. So a lot of times we don't share with each other what we go through in corporate. So I just wanted to hear a comment of situations where you've seen a person act in a certain way and later understood that perhaps they don't necessarily have a bad attitude or they're bad with time. How do you manage that basically, and what words of encouragement can you give to us as young people? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Jack Rams, the first one, in a minute or two.
Okay, I would like to first apologize if this might come out the wrong way, but in our world of entertainment and the traditions and the cultures of public relations in terms of managing and developing artist brands, there is a saying or a phrase that says sex sells. You might have seen how women are portrayed in the entertainment industry, which is a selling tool. But not only women, we also see men in six packs and muscles. And so with Uncle Waffle's situation in particular, it was an element of selling sexuality to build a brand. And that, in context of the entertainment industry and the culture, it's somehow acceptable and manageable, and how you're going to communicate it. Zodo Wabantu, for example, the idea of a PR strategy is to always have return of investment. And if the Uncle Waffle strategy was developed in a manner that it was structured, that it was going to be managed in a particular way so that they can have return of investment and build Uncle Waffle in that particular character, then they have won. It is not bad. She no longer does that. She has developed into something, a superstar now. Her recent music video emulates Michael Jackson's dance moves. She's now performing in international UK, United States, big stages. Now she's selling the music. You know? So that is that. So if you are in a particular industry, you need to understand the culture of that industry and how it works. You know, you advertise a BMW, but there's a naked girl in a bikini next to a BMW. Why? So you have to go and study those things. In marketing and advertising, they teach you the philosophy of that and the philosophy of manipulation. But quickly, you'll forgive me, Arthur. I wanted to assist in answering that question, and I'm happy that Mawetu is here. She would know that we had like a very strong debate about radio, because I studied radio at Radio TEF without being a student. I knew the practicalities of radio before I knew the theories of radio, and what urged me to go and study radio, even when I had the opportunities and I was already in the field and famous, I felt like I don't know anything about this medium. So I needed to go and study radio, right? So what I'm trying to say to you is what Dr. Mokhoba is saying. Start doing small things that will channel you to to be in the right positions that you want to. It's not the responsibility of the university. And he is right. Now I always say, and Mawetu knows that if you come and study communication and media studies without any talent, you are going to have to work 3 times harder, or you are wasting your time. If you can't create a blog and you are not a creative writer, even if you do not know how to write, but you can write an article on your own or construct a story, you're wasting your time studying this thing. You need to be passionate, you need to be dedicated and committed in, I'm studying media and communications. What is this thing and what can I do while you are still at the university? We started writing with Kiaka, with Moses Morera and Dr. Maho. We didn't know what we were doing, but we were trained there. We volunteered, we became members of structures and organizations in the university. I was the marketing officer of the United to do. Volunteer, don't rush for a stipend. Volunteer first and learn the trades of the industry so that when you go out, you have some sort of skill and knowledge. But if you are not going to use your talent in this industry first before you get the qualification, you are wasting your time.
Thank you so much.
Can I answer that one? I did try to go to Inside UL to volunteer, but then I was told, this goes to all the others that wanna join Inside UL, I was told that they would recruiting and I must come back next year, and I will indeed try out.
Yeah.
All right, dear. Thank you so much for the follow-up. I'm gonna allow those follow-ups just when we're about to wrap up, because we're about to wrap up in no minutes. Please feel free to engage with quite a lot of expectative in those that are sitting here. Someone is pressing. I'm going to go to the question. Machangora. Who's taking it? Miss Matapo? Oh, in a minute, you can take it.
So I think money, we all do what we do for money, right? And we all want money. Who doesn't want money? I mean, I love money, so, and I'm not embarrassed to say that. So I think salaries, it depends. You need to actually get yourself informed with the industries that you're in. It all depends on size of company. It all depends on location, where you are, and that's just an honest fact. You know, when you're in Joburg, probably you get paid more than when you're working in Bushbuck Ridge, you know, just because of the exposure and the demand of the job and everything. And then I think lastly, it also depends on what you are bringing to the party. Sometimes you want salary, but you know, if I'm buying a Coke, I know how much a Coke is worth. So are you a Coke or are you a Fizz? You know, a Fizz Coke, whatever that is, right? So for me, I think I would advise all of you to go to the website here at talent.co.za. Every year, they actually do a scale of salaries for our industry, and they've literally become the standard. So it's at talent.co.za, and you can see when you're in Gauteng, when you're in the Western Cape, they even do it by province. This is kind of like the range. Understand what you are bringing to the party as well, and basically understand what you are then with, because it's also about being honest with yourself in terms of what you're with. Thanks.
I think the good thing about salaries, especially when you are in a public service, is that they are public. You know what's the entry level because the DPSA publishes such information. So it's, when it comes to public sector, it's not a problem. But she has indicated the things that they're looking at. The issues of the NQF level, it does count on your entry level when you are looking for somebody within the industry, the organization, the location. What is it that you are also bringing? Because you may find that you are at an entry level, but you have been exposed when you were still at varsity, or you have been volunteering. You are coming with knowledge, unlike somebody who does not have any knowledge. So that will count although you are at an entry level, but because of this particular experience that you already have acquired previously, then we take that into consideration and say then you can be elevated to a certain degree. But you spoke of the issues of taking into account the the changes in women that we see on monthly basis. It has been a secret or things like that. We've got the EAP departments within organizations and the HR, the people that are responsible for wellness. Some of the things they are sitting with the HR because they have to look into the wellness of employees within an institution. And I know other companies, they outsource the services of HR, but they do take that into consideration because wellness of employees is important to every organization because they are, whether we like it or not, they become the center of every organization, and they are the ones that are taking an organization to a level that we require it to be at. So it's important that they look at that within the employee wellness perspective, and that is where in most institutions you find the issue of health is residing. Because I mentor a lot of students that come in within institution as interns, and we were having a discussion about this week. The issue of attitude that comes with graduates, as if you owe them something. Guys, you need to change your attitude. Whether I tell people that you can get into an institution because you know Puti has spoken on your behalf that you get hired. But Puti is not going to do the work. You have to make your own name. You have to build yourself in that institution. That person that has spoke on your behalf and negotiated that you go there will not do the work. You have to build your own brand and you build yourself. The attitude that interns are bringing to tables that we see, they know I put my foot down and I tell them I will not take this kind of attitude. And if you are going to put me on your CV, you better make sure that you level up, because I don't lie when they call me. I will tell them that you have attitude. But to me, I tell interns when they come in on their first day, don't act like you are a person who already has an employee number and a PESAL. Don't take the attitude of people that have been there for years with grudges, with so many things that have been carrying for years, and you put them on your shoulders. You take their attitude. That is not going to work for you. It only kills your career, because come recruitment time, we are the first people to say this one we are not even going to consider. And I'm telling you a fact, we will not consider you. We will go for somebody that we don't even know and start dealing with a person that we don't know, because the one we know has been giving us attitude of the Lu. Please work on that and become professional. Out there, you are not on your own. You are competing with people from University of Cape Town, UJ, VETS. They are all competing for the same positions. We see those applications. What makes you stands out? You come with an attitude, come recruitment time, we chop you. On that one, we don't even play. So I'm saying, bring your best attitude to the table and know that you are there to learn. Learning is continuous. I still study even today. I go for short courses. There is never like I am done. And there's nothing like an expert. People become basis. They are. Learning is a lifelong journey. If you can put that in your mind, your attitude is not going to be the same again. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ms. Mutapu. And guys, if you check your program, we're on the second last item. The second last item. All right. Unfortunately, I'm going to close the Q&A here. I know there's still a lot. Please feel free that when I'm going to ask them to stay a little bit, for those don't want to ask in the presence of people. Is certified as Chartered Public Relations Practitioner. He currently serves as a chairperson of PRISA in Limpopo and is also the manager in the Office of the Executive Director for Marketing and Communication at the University of Limpopo. He holds a media degree from UL, a postgraduate certificate in education, as well as postgraduate diploma in science communication, both from University of Limpopo. He also holds a postgraduate diploma in business administration from the University of South Wales in the UK, as well as Master of Business Administration from the University of East London in the UK. Knowing him, he definitely just made it very short, but I think we are all here because they made it possible as the chairperson, together with the Department of Communication, and then everyone who played a role to make sure that we have this great event. Mr. Morero, the time is yours.
Thank you very much, Program Director. You forgot to tell them that I was in the same class as you, and then you were copying from me. All the scripts you got 75 and above, you were seated next to me. We have a member she can testify that that's true as our lecturer. All right, good afternoon. Mine, it's not gonna be that long. It's just to recognize some of this who are trailblazing in the craft of public relations and communication management. And as the Public Relations Institute of Southern Africa, we thought that it's Women's Month. We could close the month by casting spotlight on them. We've gone around to ask in the province, who do you think is well deserving to be recognized? And people made suggestions. We had 3 categories. We wanted to recognize someone in academia, someone in the public service, as well as a rising communicator who has not been in the industry for a long time, but they have already applied their trade that is worth recognition. So I will start with the rising star. So it's a young lady. Apparently she's from around the area, and she has sent her regards and could not be here with us. So in the category of public service, to receive this Prisa Limpopo Women in PR Excellence Award for Rising Star, ki Ma Chikidi Rebecca Pala. So she sent a clip to accept the award. Maybe we may listen to the clip. And she sent her brother to receive the award on her behalf. Maybe in the meantime, while they're still sorting the video, for those who don't know her, so Machikidi Rebecca Pala is a seasoned radio broadcaster and public speaker with experience in the media industry. She has worked as a reporter, producer, and presenter for various platforms, including Radio TEF, Energy FM, Choice FM, and the Northern Media Group. Additionally, she has volunteered as a public relations advisor for the Limpopo artist movements, and currently she heads Media and Publicity Directorate for the African Network of Youth Policy Experts. Machikiri is the communications manager as well, and she's also the spokesperson nationally of the South African National Taxi Council, Santago, making her the first and youngest person to hold this position. In the meantime, I'll hand the award to her brother, Molatlhegi. All right, they'll play the video for those who are watching live. They'll be the ones to benefit from that video. And the next one recognizes someone in academia for excellence in academia, and she is Dr. Janelle Leroux from the University of Limpopo, senior lecturer. While she comes to receive her award, she has been a lecturer at the University of Limpopo since 2012 and is currently linked to the Department of Communication, Media and Information Studies. During her service at the university, she was awarded a doctoral scholarship from the National Institute for the Humanities and Social Sciences. Her research made a historical contribution as she was the first female to obtain a doctoral degree in communication studies at this university. Leroux, yes, you may. So Dr. Leroux is passionate about empowering her students, hence to equip herself with theoretical knowledge and practical skills to improve teaching, learning, and assessment practices in the classroom in a rapidly changing higher education environment. She's currently pursuing a postgraduate diploma in higher education. Her passion for students is also evident since she successfully supervised and continues to supervise honors, masters, and PhD students, which amounts to a total of 44 students combined. Her students share her passion and have presented their research at local and national conferences in South Africa. Mayor. We will allow the good doctor to reply in few minutes.
Unapologetic African female leaders think differently. We are fearless, strong, resilient, and not easily intimidated. Integrity, perseverance, and confidence run through our veins. We impact empower, and inspire all people for the betterment of the world. Our authenticity is what makes us powerful. We are African women, the real game changers. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Dr. Janelle Leroux, and it is with these words from the poet Stephanie Lahart that I would like to thank the Public Relations Institute of Southern Africa in the Limpopo region, as well as the Department of Communication, Media and Information Studies at the University of Limpopo for hosting this event and for nominating me for the Limpopo Women in PR Excellence Award under the category of Excellence in Academia. It is therefore a privilege for me to stand here and address you. The question which came to my mind when preparing this speech is, what do awards like these mean to African women, or African women like me? It symbolizes the tenacity and promise of African women whose bravery, vision, and leadership are reshaping both the continent and the globe. Millions of young girls and women look up to us as role models, wanting to be like us and change their communities and beyond. Such recognition honors the collective achievements of African women as well as the accomplishments of individual recipients. So I was given the task to reflect on the theme, the future of public relations and communications management in a changing world. Now, according to Stockel 2023, the role and function of public relations and communication as a defender of organizational interests, contributing to as well as benefiting from post-truth conditions, is under increasing critical review at a time when truth, along with the substance and meaning of facts, are increasingly disputed in a post-truth environment. Many industry research reports that highlight the increasing frequency of crises have as their recurring theme a world in crisis. Skillful, deliberate communication is necessary to resolve such crises, from seemingly straightforward interpersonal interactions to more intricate and structured interactions between organizations and their surroundings, as well as between countries and regions. However, it appears that the simple fixes from yesterday are no longer effective. PR and communication should be part of the solution, but many observers believe that they are the cause of the issue. PR and communications have for far too long been centered around proving their value and strategic significance. The effects that such a focus has on specific practitioners as well as on the community, stakeholders, and society have received little to no attention. In practice, research, and teaching, this raises several problems. PR communications is rife with assumptions about the field that are either judged or idealistic, and what is often left out is not the dilemma but resolving it, and assumptions that surround the practice, its teaching and research, and its impact on the evolution, on its evolution and future. Employee studies tell us that employers are looking for candidates with broad skills, making connections between theory and discipline-based skills in the classroom in experiential learning settings. I therefore asked myself, What is my role as an educator in terms of this? This reminded me of a concept in higher education and training known as authentic assessment. Authentic assessment highlights the significance of synchronizing assessment tasks in the classroom. Life. Authentic assessment aims to replicate the classroom. To replicate the tasks that professionals face in their respective fields to better prepare students for their professional lives. Our role as educators is not only to provide our students with the knowledge in the field, but to make use of authentic assessments in the classroom, to engage our students in research opportunities in the field, to keep abreast with the latest trends and cutting-edge information, to contribute to the knowledge in the field of PR and communication. We can also use platforms such as these to engage our students with leaders and experts in the industry to allow for the creation of partnerships and networks. As educators, most importantly, we should envision our students as future public relations and communication practitioners who are critical participants in expanding public discourses on important issues of our time. We must create individuals who are capable of thinking critically about the role that the practice of PR and communication plays in shaping our societies and our common futures. I can pronounce that my thoughts on the future of PR and communication management in a changing world is neither exhaustive. However, each one of our educators and learners need to look beyond the traditional understanding of PR and communication and see ourselves as critical role players in developing partnerships beyond industry towards civil society groups if we want to fully understand the common good as ultimate stakeholders. Without this foundation, I believe that PR and communication will cease to exist, and the practice itself might be driven by those who are trained to only work for specialized private interests. You see, students, you are the industry leaders of a new tomorrow. You have the power to change the future. I encourage you to create something that matters. The world needs your courage. It needs your hands. You have before you the most single opportunity for greatness ever offered to any generation, the world for a better. I thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Leroux, and congratulations. We also in the public sector would like to recognize a distinguished public sector communicator. That's the category of the award, and it goes to Mamo Matleviana Ntuli. And they have already read her bio, but I'll just quickly say she's born and bred in remote village known as Matadibeng Rose. Very humble beginnings, and she acquired senior teacher's diploma, Bachelor of Arts in Communications, Government and Communication Marketing from WITS Neuro-Linguistic Program, Life Coach Certificate. She was part of a cohort of brilliant women who were brought into the broadcasting industry to revolutionize in the meet. Her versatility shone through as she blazed the radio space, Tobel FM, for almost 10 years. She headed the call to a managerial post in government where she headed customer care and communication at the South African Social Security Agency, SASSA. Many of you know it. If not, you will know it soon. And she has after 12 years, later been appointed as the Director for Communication in the office of the Premier in this province. And like they said, she authored a book called The Pillow is My Witness. A round of applause. And we will allow her to say a few.
Thank you so much. I'm saying the future is bright because I'm seeing many young women in the space, and that makes my heart to be so full. Thank you so much, Prisa Limpopo. Many years ago when I came to this province, I had nothing but a dream. And this province provided for me in all areas. I wrote something, but I don't think I will dwell much on this. My heart is overflowing. The future of communication and the public service in the province of Limpopo looks bright. The PR and communication space that I am in the presence of greatness, I am in the presence of extraordinary people who will go out there and revolutionize the communication and PR space more than the cell phone did in the mid-90s. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. In the public service, as we continue to fight fake news, to fight misinformation, to fight disinformation, we find solace in knowing that when we are done, a generation mightier than we were, which is you, is emerging and has actually already emerged. Thank you, thank you. Ndikolibua ngamanda.
And congratulations once again. The last one goes to, it's in the category of leadership, and the award is going to, uncontested, is going to, it's for excellence in PR and communication management to Ms. Puti Motapo. So it goes with a certificate, and the certificate reads as follows: Certificates of Excellence from PRISA Limpopo Chapter. This certificate is presented to Ms. Putimutapu, who is Chartered Public Relations Practitioner, in recognition of your exemplary leadership and significant contribution to the field of public relations and communication management. Your ascent to the role of President of the Public Relations Institute of Southern Africa reflects your steadfast commitment to excellence and serves as an inspiration to the entire profession. Duly signed by the chairman of PRISA Limpopo chapter, Moses Morero, and the Secretary General of the chapter, Mr. Piladi Vincent Nakeng, on this day of August 2024. Congratulations, we are proud of you. Ma'am, I know we took you by surprise. You can cry, it's okay. She may say a few words.
I hope I'm not. Thank you so much for this. My province of birth, my institution of higher learning, my home, University of Limpopo. This is where everything started many years ago. And I tell my story, people laugh at me, because when I joined the media study department, it was by mistake. I was here for a science and I went into a wrong class of orientation. So during that orientation class, the whole session I sat the whole session just to listen to what is happening. And it was the then station manager of Jacaranda FM, Mr. Hutton, that was presenting. And it was during that moment that I said, I'm no longer going to go for the science. I'm changing my field. I'm going to communications. And when I went home, they were not happy with me. They were not happy with my decision, but it was already done and they had paid. So they had no choice. And I don't regret that moment. Sometimes when they say our plans are not God, fate takes you somewhere. Don't, if you find yourself somewhere, don't think it's by mistake. Sometimes you are supposed to be there. It's just that you are not aware, because that's your plan and not God's plan. And that's where my journey started. And it was in 1998. I'm giving away my age. Oh my God. And I hope many of you are going to come after me and be the PRISA presidents, be the putties of this institution, and raise the bar in this institution, because in terms of leadership, University of Limpopo is doing very well. I am proud to be a graduate of this institution. Thank you. Thank you so much, PRISA Limpopo. I think I should pause here before I cry.
We knew, Madam President, if we told you you were going to faint and not make it here. So we're thinking of your well-being, that you are very emotional when it comes to things like this. And Madam Tuli, thank you so much. The University of Limpopo and PRISA Limpopo are very, very humbled by your presence. For someone of your stature to take your time and come and speak to the future of communication, it really means a lot to us. And the university has some beautiful, beautiful personalized notepad that they say continue to write beautiful stories. They know you are a storyteller. So now, as you continue to write stories, do take along the brand University of Limpopo. And then there's one slide part that is going to be delivered. The personalized notepads for panel members and the MC are still being cooked. So we just thought, let's bring this one first because she's leaving so that she can have it. So we'll surely give them in due course. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Chairperson. Rea Leboga. Dr. Hazal, if you had not deleted our song, we'll be collecting some summers now and some grainy. But congratulations to the recipients of the awards, and congratulations to Prisa to continue on inspiring the people. And we are here. Vote of thanks, Abba, Amo. Please, the time is yours.
Greetings. Sanmunani. Ninjani. Alright, we're coming to the end. We're actually at the end of our program, and I don't know about you, but I'm inspired. I know you're hungry, so let me give you the important announcement first. Your food is ready. The students will be served here, and then our guests will be led to our staff cafeteria. As I've been introduced, my name Amo, and I'm a science communication student. I just want to bring that into context to say that most people would leave communications to go to science, but the government has seen it necessary to say, no, we need communicators in science so much that there's a whole program that is now being done for science to be communicated properly. So I think this is such a privilege for some of you that are doing your final year, and perhaps you had wanted to go into science stream before you did media or communications. This program would be very good for you to go into. Just I think yesterday we were commemorating Josephine Mushobane, who just like you came to school to learn but lost her life. And I can somehow hear her saying to you, Mtanami guyabongwa sekubongo ngane kubongo khulu. Come on guys, just one more time. Mtanami guyabongwa sekubongo ngane ngokhulu ziyakhe mntana and see but what I'm trying to say with this, what we have come here to do and what we are afforded the opportunity to do with such programs, being able to ask questions to people would usually not have the audience with. What the university tries to bring to the black child is something that has not always been accessible. So as we leave this place, I ask that we leave with a heart of gratitude. I ask that every time somebody comes to the university to speak to us, we receive them, we give them a chance to speak and a chance to pour onto us, because this has not always been possible for the black child. It's not always been possible, and with the way AI is going and going into a whole digital era, which as Africans we might not have all of the technology, this opportunity we need to grasp with both hands before the European countries take with all of this technology and AI. So I say to you, please be grateful to our panels, our speakers. Thank you so much. We don't take this for granted. I hope we can come back again next year and do this again. And 20 years from now, we're celebrating 20 years of doing this program that we started last year. To everybody that was here, the organizers, thank you very much. Let's get ready to eat. Thanks.
All right. Thank you. Just don't switch. There's someone who switches. Just takes a minute, please, with all due respect. The messaged panelists, the award recipients, please you stay for a photo opportunity, including all the panelists. That is the message that they said you guys should just remain. And then otherwise, thank you very much, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.
Oi.